so just a little background about Hartnell if you're not familiar with it. Most of our students there are first generation college students. Their parents didn't go to college. In some cases their parents didn't even finish high school. So we have a lot of lower socioeconomic and students with reduced opportunities. Their K through 12 experience, they probably didn't have a lot of library instruction in that environment. The lower level schools don't have a librarian at all. The high schools do have one librarian for the high school, so there's not a lot of library resources available to them before they come to Cabrillo. Hartnell. So the problem is that the use of library resources is a very strong indicator of student success. Yay! But if the students aren't aware of the library resources, they're not going to use them. Orientations currently are only offered in person. So distance education students at our satellite campus, we have a campus in King City and a campus in Alisal and East Salinas. Those students generally don't have this face-to-face orientation available to them. And also the orientations have to be scheduled by the instructors. So if the instructor doesn't choose to devote a class session to coming to the library and getting this orientation, then those students don't get the exposure to our resources. So the project was to create an online orientation so that this will be available to any student who wants it. It's available to our students at the satellite campuses. It's available to students who are taking distance ed, who may be anywhere in the country even. And then it's also available to local students who maybe just their teachers don't choose to bring them in. So the online orientation, the key point was that it needed to be provided through Hartnell's learning management system. That is the way that we can make it available to the broadest population of students. I wanted it to be modular so that, for instance, distance education students probably don't care about the fact that they can reserve a group study room at our library. They're never going to be there, so they can skip that. Interactive, so they stay awake. Accessible, that is to students with any sorts of disabilities. Obviously, as a state-funded community college, we have to make things accessible. And it's as mobile-friendly as I could get it within the constraints of the learning management system.
It's getting better.
So the modules that are included, we have information, as I said, about the library facilities, what is peer-reviewed resources, or what are, databases, and then using those, the article databases. The theoretical basis, again, was primarily cognitivism. You've heard that a lot already tonight, but social learning theory, I did a little bit of peer modeling and some scenario-based learning. And then I had spent a lot of thinking about the cognitive load theory of trying to make sure that they didn't get overwhelmed with this massive information, which I think is another downside to the face-to-face orientation, because they come in, they sit down, we give them everything we know in 50 minutes, and then they go away. And depending upon the timing as well, sometimes they come at the very beginning of the semester and they don't even have an assignment yet, so they don't have anything to sort of hook it to. So that's another reason for the online. They can go back, and get the stuff that they've, forgotten or missed. And like Evan, I went with Merrill's first principles of instruction, the scenario-based, problem-based, centered learning. Demo. So I wasn't able to really use an avatar because of the limitations of our learning management system, but I did at least personalize our picture there. That's me. I'm even wearing the same jacket. Not planned. So there's a couple of different ways that they can navigate through. I'm just going to go into modules. And so I have a variety of modalities through here. There are some live action videos, there are software simulations, and then there are interactive lessons. So just to show you an interactive lesson. So under database searching, if you go into combining your keywords, this is actually one that I was able to make mobile friendly because this is actually HTML5. This is one that I created in Dr. Lara's class. So this is an HTML5 interaction that I was able to load into our learning management system. Have you ever wondered why they're called Boolean operators? So this does have, if it loads, there it is, a little bit of interaction, and then they have a chance to practice. Sometimes, or not. The practice is very similar, where just they have to click on the correct part of the yesterday, I don't know. So then they have a practice, and then when they finish all the steps of the module, they have their next steps here. So it tells them which assignment they need to complete to get credit for the module. In this case, it's the database searching assignment to show their understanding. That actually is something that we're probably going to need to change during the implementation, because as it currently is, some of the assessments actually need human intervention for grading, which is fine when it's a prototype, when it's in pilot test for 1 or 2 classes. But the plan is to open it up to all Hartnell students. We have 7,000 students in a year. So clearly the librarians at Hartnell are not going to grade all of those assignments. So that's one of the things that will need to be adjusted at going through the implementation, is to make the course either entirely self-grading, which I found kind of have to sort of dumb down the, step down Bloom's taxonomy in order to do that, or we may make it just self-graded, where it's, try to think of 5 keywords that will describe your topic. Did you or didn't you? That's on you. So that's something that we're still adjusting as we're going through. I will show you one. An assessment where I actually embedded a Captivate object. And so this is another one where I'm saying it's mobile friendly-ish. If you don't have Flash, there is a link that links to an external website. I'm working with Hartnell IT to try to get that integrated so that it will be within the learning management system, but we haven't been able to achieve that yet. I did that for this particular assessment because our learning management system, the built-in assessments, they don't have a sequence question, so that was a little frustrating to me. So I went ahead and embedded this Captivate, which works well as long as the student actually has Flash on their machine. And then again, this is one where it needs to be evaluated because they placed in a screenshot of, the success or failure message from the Captivate, because my learning management system is not SCORM compliant and I can't just have Captivate graded. Okay, that's all I'm going to complain about my learning management system.
You can complain about ours if you like.
So, the evaluation, I did usability testing on one of the modules. I found that I needed to sort of make it in bigger chunks. The timing was a little slow, so I adjusted that. And then the simulation was revised to more closely match with the behavior of the actual website that I was simulating. Ooh, 5 seconds. I'm not gonna finish. I did a formative evaluation with that learner attitude questionnaire, which was actually overwhelmingly positive, which was very nice. And then the summative evaluation was actually inconclusive. Part of the problem was that just due to the timing of when I got my prototype done, it was the end of fall semester. So I did a pretest for these students, but they had already been using library resources. So I had 2 students that got 100% on the pretest. So there's not a lot of room for improvement there.
Did they do worse?
They did not.
Fine.
Some evaluation was inconclusive. So implementation, we are planning to pilot test it this spring. I've already approached one distance education instructor, Asher Sheep, me. So they're interested in doing that. So I'm actually planning to repeat the summative evaluation, you know, while I can get them at the beginning of the semester before they know everything about the library already. The material does need to be expanded somewhat, and then we'll offer it to the campus community that I already talked about these tests. Thanks to my husband. I could not have done it without him. My group, super group, and who is number 3, we kind of combined halfway through. My advisor, Dr. Lara, the rest of the Miss faculty, and Heart and